I'm Reverend Eva Ty Irwin, and it's great to be celebrating together the church's 80th anniversary. We honor the past and we vision towards the future. The Church Council worked hard for over a year coming up with this new vision statement that we have now. And this mission vision statement reads that God calls us to welcome all to a vibrant community on a continuing journey of faith, growth, justice, and service in the image of Christ. We are so proud of this mission statement that came about in 2022 and was officially adopted for us as a church in 2023. We sat down when we first started planning out this mission statement. We are a church that is welcoming.
I have many friends and they are so kind and good to me. I said they spoil me because, in order to participate in things, I have to have transportation. And people say, you haven't called me. Or some of the others say, we'll come get you, don't worry about it.
It's always nice to have a place that feels like home. It reminded me of church growing up in San Diego. I always like, the people that I would sit around in the pews and things like that felt like family. When it was just people that I know that were supportive and were always asked about how I was doing and how the family is doing in a really sincere way. I would go to the women's retreats, and that added an extra kind of connection with other people that I didn't sit near in the pews.
Well, you develop the bonds among your friends like that, and people go through divorce, they go through illnesses. So, but that's still what keeps us there, is that friendship, that bond. And we try and also branch out to younger members, plus even take care of some of the older members too, even older than us.
First thing I think of is our support social groups at church. Yeah. They're really good about supporting we single people now, taking care of us. They do not forget us. They're very important in our lives still.
We are a church that is joyfully praising the Lord.
I like the people. I like the music. I like I loved working with the Sunday school. I worked with the Sunday school for years.
The people have kept me here. The facilities are amazing as well. We've always had good choral directors. The choir is very caring. Congregation has always been super supportive. I'm super comfortable here. I love the space. I feel like I worship here in addition to being the organist, so the services are meaningful.
We are a church that wants to do outreach. We are a church that wants to welcome families and just welcome all persons, regardless of race and gender and sex and income status or education.
Being Chinese, I was able to kind of fit the community and kind of what the community is offering.
I remember very well the first Sunday we went. I stepped into the narthex and I looked at the sanctuary and I just couldn't believe how beautiful it was. And the other thing, nobody was wearing a hat. And I was wearing a hat.
Oh.
That was the last Sunday I wore a hat to church.
So then did you immediately go back and keep going after the first time?
Yeah.
Oh, it was pretty easy to fit in.
Yeah. And we had 5 kids.
Yeah.
And they were all in Sunday school.
Yeah.
Knowing that God calls us to welcome all to a vibrant community of faith.
It was a lot of good friends that we made and did a lot of activities with them. In fact, after we retired, we were one of the first ones to retire. We traveled in our motorhomes, our RVs, did many trips, and when we would more or less stay close to each other, aware of each other, and then be in the same campground. Usually we planned ahead and made reservations where we were going to be for the night. We went up to New England and that area.
Still stays really strong. And there are also people that we have in the group that come from, or in the Methodist Church at Good Shepherd, who have moved or retired out of the area. And some of those people, as you know, just from your own experience, still participate. And so there's that strong bond, even though it's across state boundaries and so on like that. So it's an interesting group of people.
But we also know, as John Wesley said, we are not perfect, but we are onwards towards perfection. It's a growth that comes about on our own faith journey. We are spiritually disciplined. We encourage each other to learn and to grow in our faith journey. It's always encouraged here at Church of the Good Shepherd.
I've taken a number of the classes on Bible study.
This church has been there for the birth of my oldest daughter, Stephanie, in 2000. My middle daughter, Caitlin, in 2003, and my son in 2009. It has been there for when my wife got diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and was there to provide comfort when my wife passed away. And I believe because of that, I was in the right place at the right time. The community is kind of in the right place.
Wonderful support group, especially now that Shirley's departed this earth for heaven and I'm alone. I need that kind of support.
We also are justice seekers, remembering that Christ in his work and ministry always sought justice for those who are oppressed in the margins. We seek justice together, being Christ's hands and feet for this world, being in service with great organizations such as Family Promise and Foothill Unity and the Methodist, now USC Arcadia Hospital. It is so important for us to be Christians and disciples and in the image of Christ, outreach to the community as we go and follow in Christ's footsteps.
Another thing we used to have was what we call shepherds. And each area, we had a big map of the area, and it was divided into different areas. And there was what they called a shepherd for each area. And we had a list of like maybe 6 or 8 people. The shepherd was in charge of being sure that all those people had care when they needed it. Every Sunday, people signed their name, phone number, and then on Monday, we took those sheets and put them in a membership book. That worked out well. Yeah. Because then anytime there was a member that was absent 3 Sundays in a row, they notified the shepherd of that group, that area, and the shepherd would contact that person. We had what they called cottage dinners, once or twice or maybe oftener, so the people in each area, the members of the church, knew each other.
I would say when we started the Breakfast Club and the study group, okay, now you've got to really contribute, and you've got to start asking questions and reading. And I found that to be very dynamic, and very expanding in terms of my faith and how do I accept other faith traditions. And as you've noticed, even within our current men's group our Thursday morning group, is we have a diversity of I'll say religious conservatism versus very liberal interpretations. And people are respectful of that, which I find really good. So that's why I encourage every person, and I want to get their opinion from some of the more conservative members to the more liberal members, and the majority being probably somewhere in the middle, in that middle spectrum. And so we're always trying to branch out and trying to learn more about how we interpret our faith and how we act on our faith. And that's always the hard part. You study, but if you don't act, then you'd have no faith.
I think this church is really, really open and kind-hearted as far as, seeing people in need and doing something to help.
Do you think faith is relevant in today's society?
Oh, yes, but I don't think society recognizes that.
How so?
Well, we've become more materialistic. Mm-hmm. People want to spend more time for themselves. There's been a shift in society toward caring about others and being very self-centered. And that doesn't make for a happy society. It's very bad, corrosive on society. And a lot of those values, and probably what drives the political forces here, is that feeling of being concerned about the fact that society is at a drift and doesn't have a good moral, ethical foundation anymore. Everything's relative, which of course is not true.
So would you say faith is fundamental for healthy society?
Absolutely. Some kind of faith. It doesn't have to be Christianity. It doesn't have to be my version. But some undergirding pin that there's something bigger and stronger than us, and we need to pay attention to that or face the consequences.
We've always enjoyed our time. It's a wonderful church, and we've always been very comfortable there. It had great leadership, outstanding ministers, and a great place to worship.
In here, I can see the mountains up here, and I stop and I say, I will lift mine eyes up to the hills from whence cometh my help. And another thing I say frequently to myself is, others, Lord, yes, others. Let me live for others that I may live like thee. I know I stick my nose in at times and they don't appreciate it, but then I know I've learned when to back out.
We are so thankful that you are part of this anniversary celebration. Continue to live out our mission on a journey of faith, growth, service, and justice.